when you talk about you can't come to the cookout and things of that nature, people forget picnic is an abbreviated slang term, which means you get to picnic to lynch. Everybody, when they see you or they see your brand, ask 3 fundamental questions. Who are you? What do you have? Why should I care? And somebody decided to put on a cape that day. Wow. And said, Dave Anderson, that's highway robbery, and you know this man is trying, and you're a business bully. I said, no, bitch, I'm the business bully. I'm not here to control anybody. I'm here to state facts as a person with degrees who happens to be a college professor who happens to employ black people.
Hey guys, it's your girl Ruby. Welcome, Chaos fam. Listen, tonight you are in for a real treat. Okay, I'm here brewing that raw truth. Now today we are honored really to have David Anderson in the building with us, the business bully, 21-time best-selling author, business coach, and a man dropping hammers, honey. There's nothing holding us back, okay? Ain't nobody gonna take our shine. Ain't nobody gonna hold us down. Oh no. Please welcome to the stage, Mr. Dave Anderson. How you doing today?
I don't have any interesting complaints. I'm just happy to be here.
I can't. You are funny. Welcome everybody to the live. Please be sure to like the video, share it out, and if you can and you catch it on a replay, be sure to hype it up so we can get the message out. Okay. Now you are a very, very busy man, and I have been graced to be in your presence quite a few times over the last half of this year. I really want to thank you for coming to my platform today to have a conversation.
Are you kidding me? I absolutely appreciate the opportunity to chop it up with you and your people.
Yes. Now, I can't. You always make me smile. You know, I think it's very cool that even though you are very much accomplished and you are in an elite class of people, you still maintain a down-to-earth attitude. You don't really give, you know what I'm saying? That
yeah.
I can't be bothered air. And I think that is so dope. I
appreciate that. I don't think you gotta be above your audience, and I'm not too cool for school. I'm not too big for the room. I'm telling you, man, I'm very humbled and honored. Like, so I just got back from I was at AmFest, which was crazy in and of itself. Oh yeah, we're gonna get into it. And I was walking down the street. I went to a taco place, and I'm walking down the street, and all of a sudden someone goes, Dave Anderson. And I'm like, I'm from the hood. So when you start yelling out my name, and I know I don't know nobody around here, and dude was like, he hit me with the Coming to America. Oh my goodness, it is you. If I could just have my picture taken with you. Like, I'm so happy that people are resonating with what I'm saying and being able to have really tough, inconvenient conversations. I'm grateful that anybody wants to take the time to watch or listen to or read my work or, you know, come see me speak. So just that in and of itself is an honor for me. So I'm always grateful.
But this is the thing, like, people can't help but to want to speak to you reading your book, because I promise you, if I never believed that you are your best representative and you are your best salesperson, I didn't even really know, like, you know what I'm saying, how deep it went with who you were. But that first panel that we sat on together, it was your whole vibe and your energy. It really intrigued me, which is why I put that clip in, your 3 fundamental, you know what I'm saying, questions.
Yeah.
Why should I trust you? Why should I care? What do you have to offer? Like,
yeah,
that was really, really impactful on me. And I think that more people in general need to really embrace that ideology.
Yeah, wholeheartedly. I think a lot of times we are out here making content for content's sake. We are talking about things just because I have an opinion and nah. When you're doing something, you're representing more than yourself. You're representing your business, you're representing your brand, you're representing your first name, you're representing your last name. And if you're not thinking how people think when they encounter other human beings, who are you? What do you have? Why should I care? Then you're just wasting your time. And I don't really have the luxury of having time for circle jerks.
Yeah, I think that we have gotten into this place where everything is about posturing for position, letting people know how much you have, how much you're worth, and true worth. It's not shown that way. You know,
Hmm?
I don't know if you've heard of Angel Studios. Have you heard of them?
Yes, I have.
So I took the kids to go see David this weekend, and guys, I will be doing a review on that.
Yes.
But what impressed me overall was the fact that this studio is giving people free tickets. That's how confident they are in their product. Come
Mm.
and see our movie for free, stay for the message, and then pay it forward so that somebody else can come and see the movie for free. And the whole theme of the story of David, it was in First and Second Samuel that they covered in this movie. It
Hmm.
was about encouraging your children, encouraging your flock to follow the light. And it made me be reflective on your book because
Mm.
essentially the message in your book is really to follow the light. Like, and it's just crazy to me how many people stay trapped in the darkness.
Yeah. I think darkness is easy. Darkness does not require any accountability. Darkness does not require you to be a better version of yourself. It doesn't require you to improve in any way, shape, or form. And a lot of times we are addicted to negativity. We get some type of dopamine fix from focusing on bad things instead of focusing on the good stuff. So yeah, it really doesn't surprise me, but I'm happy to hear that they're giving out tickets. And, I don't know about anybody else, but my mother named me with intention, So I'm going to go see David because, well, that's who I'm named after. So,
Yes, for all of you that don't know, if you go see David through Adam Theaters, use code Adam David and you will get your tickets for free. So there's
hmm,
that.
love
Now,
that.
yes. I'm telling you, when I tell you, like, I'm a big old softie. People don't know this, but I was in a movie, right? And the rest of my family, they enjoying the movie. I'm over there fighting back tears at certain points, like, oh, I can't cry in the movie theater, honey. But I did. It was good. It really was. Now, you have been called the business bully for years.
Yes,
And I
ma'am.
have this clip where you were talking to somebody about that. Can you please share with my audience how you got that name and how you turned that name into a brand?
Yeah, Robbie, it's real simple. There was a guy that kept asking questions. He was an asshole, ASKHOLE. And he had a cookie company, but he didn't make any money. He didn't have any revenue for marketing. He didn't know what he was doing. He had a great product, but he had no systems in order to sell that product. Just like my mom make a better burger than McDonald's, but McDonald's has sold billions of grade D meat burgers. And so I said to him, you don't have any money for marketing. I'll come in. I will handle your marketing. I'll do everything, for 40% of the revenue. I'm going to eat what I kill. He said, and that's not fair. And he went into a black Facebook business group and started bad mouthing me. And somebody decided to put a cape on one day and said, Dave Anderson, you're a business bully. And I said, no, bitch, I'm the business bully. And then I trademarked it. I'll be that. I'm real red man with it. My first name must be he ain't, because every time I come around, just be like he ain't. I'll be that.
That's hilarious. But I think that a lot of people in the community don't really understand the power of a trademark.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I don't know if you know this. I had a trademark case. I was tied up in trademark court for 5 years because someone tried to steal my brand, just
Mm.
being petty, and it was a lot of money. Jesus Christ, it was like $30,000, but I won, and I stood 10 toes down on it because I'm like, this is my brand. This is my, you know what I'm saying? My
Mm-hmm.
intellectual property. I'm not going to let anybody else take that. And
Right.
if you're not having like people just trying to be petty and trying to oppose your marks, like it's not a super expensive process, but it's something that people can't take from you as long as you stay on top of your ownership duties for your trademark.
That's it. 100%. I have a bunch of things that I've trademarked because I understand the power of intellectual property and how you can leverage it. The reason I started trademarking things that I say is because I'll never forget this as long as I live. Bill Bellamy, the comedian, he created the phrase booty call. He never trademarked it.
Mm.
And the millions of dollars that that man missed out on for not having that trademark. Yeah, ain't gonna catch me slipping like that. Nope, I'm good.
That's right. I know that's right. Now, when I was looking through your footage, because I have been getting to know you better through your footage, I wish I could call you on the phone and take your ear all day, but I've been, really paying attention because I have a tendency to study successful people because I'm trying to become successful. But I see that you used to work with Wendy Williams.
That is correct.
What was that like?
Phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. It was the toughest job I ever loved. I learned so much. I was 21, 20, about 21, 22. And she always made sure you understood the importance of doubling down on who you were, being unapologetic for it. Make sure that you understand that yes, you can love the show part of show business, but without the business, there is no show, right? And I tell people all the time because people are like, well, didn't Wendy fire you? Yep, sure did. Absolutely, she did. The same way Roberta Flack fired Luther Vandross, because at the end of the day, I was hungry and I wanted a full-time gig, and nobody on that station at that time was going to move out of their way for some snot-nosed kid, from the hood of Philly. And so she lovingly fired me and told me the next time I'll see you, you'll be a success. And at that point, the next time I saw her 7-8 years later, I was producing Ricky Smiley and I had gotten him syndicated in about 30 markets. So yeah, she said, I told you so. And I got nothing but love for Wendy Williams. That was a wonderful part of my life that I still carry with me and I still revere, because it made me very unapologetic about saying, like, I've always had no filter, but like what filter I had left watching Wendy and understanding how she handled business and what she wouldn't compromise on broke off whatever filter there is. And please don't tell people to go to Amazon and get my book. They need to go to therealblackagenda.com and get my book. We're not giving that evil Jeff Bezos no more of my money.
You're right. You know what? The book is only available on therealblackagenda.com.
Therealblackagenda.com. And if you order tonight, I'm also going to throw in an audio book from Audible for you.
And so I'm going to tell you, yes, get the book tonight, because, baby, if you think his personality is on fire on this show with little old me, honey, when he's reading that book, the words really come to life. And I'm an avid reader, but I also have a really big Audible library. And I'm telling y'all, I was listening to the Audible and reading along with the book because I'm like, nah, he ain't saying like that in the book. And well, yes, he did. He did.
Yeah, I mean, I go off script a little bit, but no, word for word, bar for bar. Like, I sat in my studio and I recorded the book because I didn't want AI reading it. And I wanted to be able to go back and say, you know what, when I wrote this, there's a couple of things that I realized I should have said. So I'm going to say it on the audiobook. So it's a really good opportunity for people to hear my thoughts in my head the way that I meant them. You can't misinterpret it when it's my voice.
No, you can't. And I think a lot of authors, they miss the opportunity. Yeah, it's a lot of work, especially if you've written a lot, but I think it gives you a better connection with the audience.
Yeah, no, it's important, man. What I realized is you can do a lot, right? I can outsource a lot, and there's a lot of stuff that I outsource because I just don't have the bandwidth anymore. I'm at a particular place in my life and my career where there's certain things I just don't have the the time to do. But I can't outsource me. And people come for the words, but they stay for my authenticity.
Yes, 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 definitely. That's a fact with that I have seen with you, and I've even seen people come at you talking out the side of their neck, and then when they realize who you are, the complete 180 that they do is astonishing.
Yeah. Uh, I say this: everybody's Billy Badass until Billy Badass actually shows up. And we live in a world where there's all of these people who do not have my breadth of experience talking like they have the breadth of my experience. And I tell folks all the time, Google is a snitch. It'll tell you my business. Go on and look. And then see if you still want to have that same energy, because a lot of times, respectfully, there are people who think they're my peers because we might be the same age. And we're not. You have not done what I've done. One of my favorite songs, Jay-Z says, what the hell have you done to even have an opinion on what I've been doing? What the hell have you won? The only thing you specialize in is losing. Like, you don't know what it took for me to get here. You're just seeing me now past 18 months, 24 months, 5 years. But I started my journey during the Reagan administration. So it's like I'm 4 decades in. You just got a laptop and jumped on YouTube last month. We are not the same. Respectfully.
You know, I mean, this is true. I don't really think a lot of people even put a lot into their production, and production definitely matters. Like, one thing I noticed about your book, and you guys, just let you know how real it is, honey. That black and red, the book itself, it speaks to power.
Yes, ma'am.
Just from the visuals alone, like the words inside, that's a whole different mantra. I'm telling you guys, you read this book, it's gonna change your perspective on how you are operating, on how the systems around us are operating. All these people that are talking about FBA this, ADOS this, we need to be doing this and we need to be doing that. This is the first time that I have seen a clear and structured path on what to be done for the community without actually trying to be separatist in nature. Like, I am super impressed with this book. Like, this book had a profound effect on me.
Wow, I'm grateful to hear that. I worked very hard and very long on this book, and for me, the only thing that made me write this book in the first place is because I didn't find anything out there that truly, in my opinion, spoke to what we need to be doing as a people, as foundational Black Americans, and not from a I got a t-shirt and I got a flag perspective, but from practical application of what we need to do. Cooperative group economics, reprioritizing family, doing more than just dancing and twerking for a vote. Literally make things happen in a real way. And because I didn't see that out there, I said, okay, well, like, if it's going to be, it's up to me. So I decided to write it.
And I don't think anybody could have done it better. Like, this, I feel like it needs to be part of curriculums in colleges and economics, like, seriously. And especially in African studies. Like, this
I appreciate that.
This is y'all go get the book right now. Just open another tab, go ahead to therealblackagenda.com and purchase your book. I'm telling you, you won't regret it. It'll be the best 160 pages you ever read in your life. Now, you know I got to talk to you from the Big Back Committee. Did you lose 300 pounds?
No, that is a complete inaccuracy and it's a lie.
Okay.
Let's stop the cap. Okay. Right? I lost 350.3 pounds.
Okay, so let's talk about it. How did you get that big, and how did you, get control of it and lose that much weight?
Okay, so can I be very honest?
Absolutely.
Black people are jacked up when it comes to our eating habits. Let's just call a spade, okay? We tend to do everything around food. Somebody gets married, food. Somebody gets divorced, food. Baby shower, food. Funeral. Have you ever had repast chicken? It's the best chicken you will ever have. You forget who died. Y'all be out there soon as with the chicken thigh hanging out your mouth, down, down, do your dance, do your dance. Like, now walk it by yourself. Like, we honestly do everything around food. Plus, I inherited my mama's emotional eating habit. So listen, man, that was a big part of it. Also, radio. You got to remember, I started doing radio in the 1980s.
Mm-hmm.
You're sitting in a box for 4 hours, and the record company comes through, and they want to take you to Ruth's Chris. And then the record company comes through, and they want to take you to the Olive Garden. The record company comes through, and they want to cater lunch for the entire radio station. And it's never anything cheap. It's always good, fat, big back attack food. And I'm a radio programmer. I'm an executive producer. I'm an afternoon drive guy. I'm a morning man. So yeah, you do that consecutively for 25 years, you're going to be big. Mm-hmm. And then, I went through a lot. There was a time where I wound up homeless. And, when you are living in your truck and as homeless people goes, that's really cool. But you're living off the dollar menu. Ain't nothing good on the dollar menu. It's cheap, but it ain't good for you. Right? So you're eating your feelings, you're depressed, you're trying to figure out how you go from this big old high to this real bad low. So naturally, I got myself into a slack-jawed North American big backs position, and I became Lori Harvey after a while. And you're like, well, Dave, what the hell do you mean you became Lori Harvey? Well, I lost 7 X's in like 5 years.
Dang.
I was a 7X, 72-inch waist, 22-inch neck collar. I did not have a neck. I literally could have been like if I didn't have a full beard and an actual hairline, I could have probably played a younger Roland Martin. Go to my iPad. Because I was big. And I decided to get a hold of myself because my wife said to me, Dave, there's no 561-pound elderly people. And if there are, you find the one who lives the lifestyle that you want to live. And I was like, yeah, I don't. So I started to lose some weight and I saw my doctor. I saw a therapist. I saw a nutritionist. Like I took it very seriously and I dropped like 92 pounds. So I was feeling good. I was like 468. I was like, yeah, I'm killing it. To get down to 468, you still big as hell. Anywho and anyhow, my doctor said, well, there's a specialist I want you to meet with. And I'm like, a specialist for what? He said, weight loss surgery. I ain't doing that. That's cheating. And he said, just meet with him. I said, okay. So I meet with the weight loss surgeon and he says, I understand you think it's cheating. And I said, yeah. He said, this is a tool. There's people who get weight loss surgery and they still balloon back up. It's what you choose to do with it. And I said, I don't like hospitals anyway, this, that, and the third. So I got a gastric sleeve and I took my health very, very seriously. And the second I was able to exercise, I did. So I started picking up things that I wasn't able to do as a kid. Right. So I started picking up karate, Kempo, Krav Maga, kickboxing, 6 miles a day, 1.5 gallons of water a day, prioritizing protein, lifting heavy weights and putting them back down. Like that's the discipline it takes in order to lose 350.3 pounds. Yeah. And so I ain't going back. Not to mention, do you know how much cheaper clothes are now? My God.
I bet. But now let me ask you a question about this gastric sleeve, right? So is that something that you now have with you for the rest of life? Or like when you reach your goal weight, do they go back in and take that out?
Oh, no. There's nothing to take out. See, they already did the taking out in the beginning. So my stomach was so big, right? It was literally the size of 2 beach balls. So they cut out 80% of my stomach and they just left me with what they call a sleeve. They didn't put anything in. They cut out 80% of my stomach. And so now it's like the size of a banana. Now, if I wanted to be a slack-jawed North American big back, I could probably push it and overstuff myself, but I don't because that makes me feel absolutely horrible. And the only bad thing is there's a couple of side effects. The first is I have to make sure I take vitamins for the rest of my life, which Black people are really horrible about taking vitamins. So I'll take that side effect. Also, I don't do well with soda. I can't drink soda because the bubbles and horrible,
Yeah.
not good. Other than that, I'm good. There's nothing that is going to allow me to go back to where I was, and it's nothing that I'm ashamed of. I'm very proud of myself. I'm absolutely very proud of myself. And what kills me is, right, so a couple years ago, I went and got brand new suits. Now, I was never a big suit guy because I always felt like fat people in suits look like the Penguin from Batman. They just don't look good, or they look like a mob boss. Like, yeah, we're gonna send a couple guys over there. You're gonna whack him. He needs to be whacked. So I never liked the way I looked in a suit, and so I had gotten fitted for some suits. I got the suits, and then I had some events come up, and I go to see the tailor because I said, I'm just getting my suits taken in, because these were the suits I had gotten after I had lost weight, but I lost more weight. So I go, my tailor, she's an old Russian lady. She says, Dave, yeah, you see shoulders right here. And the shoulders in the suit are here. I can do it, but you probably be better off buying new suits. So I had to give away my suits that were my goal suits. That's how much weight I had lost, right? And so, good problem to have. It's kind of a pain in the ass sometimes, but I love having more options. I love being able to play with colors. I love the fact that, daggone it, I was at the store with my wife today, and I said, babe, do not let me leave out of here without getting a new belt, because I just got a new belt a couple of months ago, but I've already pulled it, to like the last hole, and I ain't going to be ghetto and take another. You know how like your mama just take the scissors and jab it up real quick and then twist it? Twist the leather out. No, I don't need to be ghetto. I can go to like Burlington or Ross and just get me a belt for $20. So I'm gonna go back and get me a belt. So yeah, man, it's been a phenomenal journey and it's still going. And yeah, am I gonna have chocolate chip cookies tonight? Yes, I am. And did I have Chick-fil-A today? Yes, I did. I had the lemonade, but I had a side salad with some like blue cheese crumbles and tomatoes. Like, I'm really balanced in everything. And I feel amazing. Almond Eyes 78 says ice pick does the trick. I don't have an ice pick. Because if I did, then somebody say I'm out here trying to stab people with an ice pick. Business bullies people with an ice pick. Nah, we good. I'm just gonna go get a new belt. It's all right. I'm gonna donate the old one. It's fine.
I can't. You are too much. Now, thank you for sharing with us a little bit of your personal history, but let's get into the book. Now, you said this book is a reckoning and not a manifesto.
Mm-hmm.
So what really was like the final straw that made you sit down and write the handbook?
For me, it was I did not realize how programmed Black people were, right? When people say, well, I'm going to vote for this person because I like them. I'm like, I'm sorry, is this homecoming? Is this the prom? Like, where did we get ourselves to a place where it becomes about a popularity contest?
Yeah.
I'm not about that. I'm about policy. We live in a constitutional republic. We have a representative government. So if you are there to represent me, in exchange for my vote, you're supposed to make my life better. You're supposed to make my life easier. You're supposed to allow me to be able to achieve and pursue the American dream. And I didn't see that happening. What I saw was a bunch of people pandering and rapping and twerking and saying, if you don't know who to vote for, you ain't Black. No. Because everybody else gets something for their votes. The Jews get something for their votes. The illegals get something for their votes. The Libiquita, LG, I don't know all them damn letters. And forget the pronouns. Them people, they get something for their vote. But us.
And it's been that way for a long time. One of the biggest
60 years.
Yeah. And one of the biggest conversations that I have in the spaces is politics, policies, and property. You can't do anything without those three. We're going to get into the policies because you have some interesting takes on policies that I want to do a little bit of a deeper dive on. But Black people really don't understand politics at all. And it's to our detriment. It's been for a while. So what let me ask you this question, because you said you went to the MUSA thing.
Mhm.
How was that? Let's talk about that.
Oh, I had a ball. It was absolutely awesome. And let me explain something to you. For me, this is not a situation where it's like, oh, he's all in for Trump. Oh, he loves everything Charlie Kirk said. No, I was invited to come out. I came out. I did a bunch of interviews. I met a bunch of people who were happy to meet me. And the truth of the matter is, every problem I've ever had when it comes to having tough discussions about black communities, them problems, by and large, with very few exceptions, have come from liberals. Malcolm X warned us about the white liberal. The white liberal will jab you in the back with a knife 6 inches deep and pull it out 3 inches and call it progress. He also said, don't listen to comedians and trumpet players. What are we doing? Listening to comedians and trumpet players. I will go anywhere when it means that I am able to have conversations that will allow me to talk about what is affecting me and my family and the people who look like me. I never had I never had a conservative, come at me crazy.
Hmm. I mean, I also agree. I do think that it is very much the liberal Democrats, especially in our own community. When you start thinking outside of the box that you've been told you need to check, then all of a sudden you're a coon. Meanwhile, they don't understand that coons were the rebels. They were the people giving the pushback. And it was turned into something that it was never meant to be, to dehumanize and take power away from the culture. Like, this is when you get told, well, you're a tether. Well, tethers are actually anchor babies from people that were born here needing immigration. If I was born here, my birth certificate says United States of America, how can I possibly be a tether?
Let me stop you there for a second, because I need to explain what a tether actually is versus how sometimes it gets used, right? So, name me a time in history where Vietnamese people were talking about what Japan needed to do. Name me a time in history where Russian people were telling Great Britain what they needed to do. So, we understand that Vietnamese and Chinese people are both Asians, but they have different lineages. We understand that Russians and Brits are white people, but they have different lineages. The problem with black people in this Pan-African diaspora situation is, whether you were born here, but your parents are foreigners or not, that does not it makes you American, yes, but it does not make you a foundational black American. I don't go telling Haitians what to do. I don't go telling Jamaicans what to do, right? You don't get to say how foundational black Americans get to operate because you happen to look like us when you're not really us. Because if you were to go to a Japanese person and call him Chinese, you getting ready to get your jaw rocked. A lot of times, everybody thinks that they can just jump into our conversation and then talk to us greasy. The other part of that is, the people who are not foundational black Americans think that they automatically are somehow, not all, but when we're talking about tethers, because we're talking about a particular group, the tethers think that they are somehow better because they're better at regurgitating, information. We got better grades in school than you. Cool. Historically speaking, right? The president says those are shithole countries. So the people who come over here are the people who can come over here. It is the best of the worst. And whether you are a good diasporic representation of blackness outside of foundational black America, when you come into America, make no mistake, the reason that you are here, the reason your parents were able to come here, the reason your grandparents were able to come here was because my ancestors fought for the 13th, 14th, 15th Amendment, the Civil Rights Act, and every single major piece of legislation in the past 100 years in order to make that happen. So I don't come into your house like I'm Rick James, like, up your couch, up your couch. And a lot of tethers do that because they benefit from having the association of blackness. Oh, we all black and we all need to get along. Name one place in the diaspora outside of America where that's happened.
Nowhere.
Exactly. So that's what I mean by that.
Yeah, I just find it to be really crazy because, like, I don't know, a lot of black people give me a hard time because my family isn't descendants of slavery. But we're black. We've been here since the 1700s. Like, I can actually trace my lineage. So it's interesting.
So where are your people from? If you've been here since the 1700s, where are your people from?
Virginia.
Ethnically.
My family is African American on my mother's side, and on my father's side, they're from the Virgin Islands.
U.S. Virgin Islands?
Yes.
I don't know. I'm about to get a ruling on that. We're gonna put you with asterisks. But if one of your parents is foundational, then you're foundational.
Oh, okay. Because that's not how it was explained to me. How it was explained to me was you had to be descended from slave blood, and you had to be picking.
That's ADOS.
Oh, okay.
So let me explain something. There is a difference between ADOS and foundational Black Americans. American descendants of slaves are people who are descended from slavery, right? That's an Yvette Carnell thing. I can't really speak to all of that, but there are two books I recommend every Black person, regardless of whether they come, wherever they come from, they need to read if you're going to have a conversation about foundational Black Americans. The first is They Came Before Columbus by Ivan Van Sertima.
Okay.
The second book is Before the Mayflower by Lee Rowan Bennett Jr. See, we were already here. A lot of us were already here. Historically, and you can Google this when you don't have anything else to do, less than 3% of the transatlantic slave trade came to the United States of America. Period, point blank.
Oh, yes, this I know. You know, and then even when we look at pictures of Native Americans, and you look at the face structure, the bone structure, the hair textures, noses, lips, you can tell that too. But a lot of people don't really know the history of the Americas, much less the history of the African in America. Most of us not from there. And another thing that I find interesting is the ancestry DNA 23andMe lie in your face, make you think they know where you're from. What are your thoughts about that whole situation?
It's good entertainment. That's my whole thought on that. Because once they got past the grift, because now they have nothing else to sell. One-time sales will make you one-time rich. They swab your mouth. Now it's, oh, well, you can find out if you're predisposed to a heart disease. I can get that from a blood panel at my doctor's office. You got nothing left for me. And now they're using that stuff. It's like Pokemon Go. And here's what I mean, right? 23andMe is now being used. Ancestry.com, they're all being used by government agencies, law enforcement agencies, so that they can get samples of your DNA, connect you to crimes, whatever the case may be. If you're in a criminal, it's not a big deal. But for other people, I still think like it's a violation of your civil rights. Pokemon Go got people going to different places, and what they had people doing was traversing different places so that they can take that data. They were using human beings to map out different places. It's the same thing. They're using a hustle. So there it is.
I do believe it is a hustle. And I think a lot of people are very much ignorant to the science of selling. Now, you also said that voting alone won't fix it.
Yes.
Talked about how both parties played in our face and the fake agendas. Do you want to speak to that a little bit?
Sure. Here's the thing. Voting by itself don't do a damn thing. Everybody else understands how this country works. See, America is a corporation. This is a business that cosplays as a country. And people say, well, voting don't have anything to do with business. That's because you're a moron. Voting has everything to do with business. The politics of America is about money. That's why Pfizer and Johnson & Johnson and all of these different corporations were pushing their own version of the jab because there's money in that. The government paid for that. You have lobbies. That's why we have high fructose corn syrup in all our kids' foods. You have lobbies for that. That's why you have kids getting vaccinated way before they should for a lot of stuff. Everything is money. If you want to know why your streets haven't improved, it's because somebody didn't cut the right check. You've got to start realizing that voting is the first step. It's not the only step. A lot of people vote and feel like, yeah, done my part. No. America has to give people the truth. And here it is. All these politicians are for sale. You want something done, cut the check. That's it. And I don't want to hear, well, I don't have money for that. You have money to go see Wicked. You have money to go see Beyonce. You have money to get them stupid ass tinfoil cowboy hats. You got money to put behind a politician in order to make sure your kid's school is better. You got money to make sure that these teachers unions do what they need to do so that these teachers can get paid and your children get an actual education, not an indoctrination with a piece of parchment at the end of 12 years.
Facts. They have money to put into Umar Johnson's school, and that ain't never coming.
You don't find that suspicious? You don't find that suspicious? Donations. Gifts.
Oh, child, listen. I cannot. Now, one of the other things that you talked about in your book is a topic that has been near and dear to my heart since I got my first degree in science, and it is music in black and white and the cultural theft and appropriation of who we are as a people and our culture. And when I was reading that part of your book, I was like, man, this takes it all the way back to payola schemes. This takes it back to the Beach Boys. Like, this takes it way back to torch songs, to like Ray Charles and everything. I don't really think that the culture, as much as they laud and they love all these entertainers, realize how upside down the music industry is. Even with that, what is that boy's name that had that concert in California where everybody got kind of smushed and it was a lot
of wasn't that was that ASAP Rocky?
No,
who had that?
I forget the boy's name, but it was in one of those documentaries from like Trainwreck or whatever. And it's
Travis Scott.
Yes, Travis Scott. And how they just let those people pack and funnel in, and he just had to keep on going on performing. And that's how most of the culture is. I feel like Black people are perpetually Pinocchio on the string.
Yes, of course. Here's the thing about the music business, right? As far back as you can go, the music business has always been predatory, especially against Black people. They will take our songs, they will take our style, they will take our movements, and then they'll give them to somebody white. The Beach Boys, the Beatles, Aerosmith, Rolling Stones, Bruno Mars, Cardi B, Sam Smith, what's his name? Oh gosh, I could see him clear as day too. Jack Harlow. I mean, I could do this all day. There is nothing new under the sun. If you were to look up the Beatles' greatest hits, I think there's 12 songs on them. 9 of those songs are covers of Black artists. Like, that is nothing new.
But I will say this, because there's one song that I really love from like the mid 40s, Misty. Sure. Now, our Black artists were also copying off of each other, because Misty has been done by Billie Holiday, Ella Fitzgerald, Sarah Vaughan. First of all, if you ever listen to Misty, no one sings it better than Sarah Vaughan. Not anyone. Like, and I think during that period, they kind of pit us against each other, and they made us steal from each other to condition us, like Pavlovian theory, right? So if you're stealing from each other and everybody is still getting a bag, it doesn't really matter if the music gets into another market. And I think they use that as a way to kind of integrate Black people into society. And it's one of those things like civil rights where it just kind of imploded and it's really keeping us held back.
Yeah, no, I think a lot of times we have to understand there's nothing wrong with a remake. There's something wrong when you're weaponizing a remake in order to make it palatable to white audiences. I think those are two totally separate things. I'll give you an example. Marvin Gaye's I Heard It Through the Grapevine was done by Gladys Knight and the Pips before Marvin did it. There's also a Martha Reeves version of that same record. All three of them folks is on Motown. But when you think of I Heard It Through the Grapevine, you damn sure think of boom, bum, 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 bum. It's a world of difference. So that's what it is. But these folks out here, man, the record industry is definitely a big hindrance as to why we're not able to move forward in a real way.
I agree. And I was telling you how I was watching Buy Now, right? Mm-hmm. The science of shopping and getting people to shop. And looking at how a lot of these brands have used artists to revive and push and drive and make the selling culture thrive and made millions and billions of dollars is ridiculous. What Adidas did using artists and how they revived their corporation, they were almost in obsolescence. They had 164% growth in a very short period of time just using the culture.
Always, but Adidas has used the culture at least once every 4 decades. Run DMC made a song called My Adidas and did it without having a deal in place. It wasn't until Russell Simmons bought the Adidas rep to Madison Square Garden and Run, and everybody took off their Adidas shoes, and he saw 30,000 Adidas in the air. He was like, "Whoa!" So, that's a part of the situation. And again, I'm really clear on two things. There are times when two things can be true at the same time. This isn't me blaming white people for every damn thing, but historically and currently, when it comes to the music industry, there are no Black-owned record companies. There are only Black record labels. So the people who control that are doing it, and they are literally benefiting and profiting heavily on weaponizing and monetizing Black suffrage. I got a problem with that.
Me too. And I think that anybody that's looking at this conversation in particular, or any conversation like it, as, oh, well, stop blaming white people. It's not about blaming white people. It's about people that don't know their history are doomed to repeat it, which is why this is the same history that has been repeated consistently decade after decade after decade after decade, and there is no change because so many people are grossly unaware of the history, especially in that particular segment of the culture, which is the biggest driver. Because what are Beyonce tickets, like $3,000?
I don't know. I don't buy Beyonce tickets. I have no idea. I know they're expensive.
Yeah, I mean, Beyonce is cool or whatever, but I've never really been into spending more than $100 to go see a performance or go to a venue. I just think there's better uses of money. Now, another thing that you talked about in your book that I'm having personal experience with, so it really spoke to me, was the school to prison pipeline and how they're manipulating the people through the educational system. I don't really think enough people realize the setup and the game. Can you please, expound on that?
All right. So when you understand how this works, they take your 3rd to 5th grade reading scores, specifically those of Black men, and they decide based on the comprehension level how many prisons to build, because there's a direct correlation between reading comprehension and criminal activity. So that's how that goes. You got a troll in your comments, by the way. Anyhow, what I think people don't understand is there's a lot of money in prison. The 13th Amendment says that slavery is not allowed in the United States unless you are convicted of a crime. So slavery is alive and well in the prison system. You couple that with the 94 Clinton Biden crime bill, and you have a workforce that is slave labor that's going to work for tenths of pennies and continue to make products for America for next to nothing. We're not getting rid of that cheap labor force. So, yeah, not only that, but a lot of times, if you notice, these prisons, by and large, are usually out in really nice suburbs, someplace outside of a city. Very rarely are they within the city limits. And the people in the prison, even though they don't have a right to vote, usually get counted in the census. All of
Mm,
that's by design. So if you have more people in a small town, then more resources are financially allocated to those people. So those schools get all those resources that, because they have the prisoners counted into the population, the prisoners don't benefit from that, but the schools do, the roads do, the buildings do, the courts do, the economy does. It's a way to continue to make that money.
yes. And those of you in the chat, if you're gonna troll and you want me to pay attention to your trolly comment, I'm gonna need a color on it. Okay. I'm gonna need you to hit that super chat. All right. It's gotta be at least $9.99 or better. Otherwise, you're just typing to yourself. I'm very good at paying you trolls no attention. Thank you for being in attendance. Be sure you double tap the screen and share it out, because you could be anywhere in the world, but you choose to be here soaking up all this knowledge. You're not going to derail the conversation. God bless you and keep you.
Hallelujah.
Amen. Now, we are clearly talking about powerful conversation here, because that's when you get the influx of people trying to get you off topic.
Mm-hmm.
So ignore the chat. We got moderators in the building. Moderators handle your handle. And other than that, moving right along. Now, speaking of Umar, because that's how we met each other, you've
Mm-hmm.
been very, very outspoken about the fake leadership and exploitation. I mean, I know a lot of channels and panels say don't name names, but I ain't never afraid. Uh, what's the common trait amongst these leaders who get wig and they profit off of trauma, but they don't deliver any results? If you feel you need to name a name, you are more than welcome to.
Let me make sure I'm answering the question the right way. Are you asking me why we keep platforming people who aren't really doing the things that they say they are going to do? Is that the question?
No, I'm asking you what's a common trait amongst them
Oh,
that are
well, yeah,
exploiting the culture.
they usually don't have anything to show for it. Like that's the common trait. I have done everything that I said I was going to do. I didn't go out here saying that I was going to build a school. I didn't think that was a smart thing to do, you know. So when you say 14, 15 years ago that you were going to build a school and you haven't built a school, yeah, I'm gonna feel some type of way about that, especially if estimates are at like 2.8 million when it comes to the school. So that's a problem.
I agree. I think one thing a lot of these fake leaders have in common is they very much have the snake oil salesman
Mm-hmm.
trait and the pastor in the pulpit personality type. What do you think about that?
I think a lot of times people don't understand that they are subject to charismatic leadership. And I don't have anything against people being charismatic. I have a problem with people falling for it and not questioning people. When you follow a man, not a mission, when you follow a leader and not a lineage, we get ourselves wrapped up in stuff. That's why we got folks like Jamal Bryant running out here telling people to boycott Target, but we still don't know what they're asking for. We still don't have any results. Our communities are still in shambles, whether Target is there or not. There were black businesses that got ravaged because he was worried about Target. We
Mm.
don't need another leading black on CNN. Al Sharpton out here telling people what to do, but he's rich and he's on MSNBC every night. D.L. Hughley is telling black people what to do, but he lives in a gated community and he's rich. Like all of these rich people is telling everyday Americans what they need to be doing, specifically black folks. And I'm like, why? What are you getting out of it? How does it affect you? No.
Exactly. But the thing about the boycotts is not only is there never an end game, but nobody boycotts altogether. When we were
Mm-mm.
supposed to be boycotting Dove, I know several people that were still buying Dove products.
Yeah.
Carol's daughter, H&M.
Gucci. Like every other week, we boycotting somebody.
Tommy Hilfiger.
What was we boycotting Tommy Hilfiger for?
Oh, you remember when he went on? Was it Oprah or Ricky Lake? It was Oprah.
It never
And
happened.
oh, okay.
It
See,
never happened. You can't find the tape. It never happened. It's an urban legend. He never said it. And I'm not defending the man, but I just believe that there's enough about people that you could find to indict people on without falling for myths and urban legends.
Yeah, I mean, I do feel like a big way for people to troll businesses, though, is to put out some type of narrative that they've been racially insensitive or they're racist, especially like if your competitor is doing better than you. I think that is a way to undercut profits for another company that people have been exploitative of as well.
Yeah, I agree. I think a lot of people get exploited. A lot of people will do something controversial because they know that somebody else will come and support that business. Or sometimes they'll do it because they know they can wait you out. Like you got rappers leading boycotts telling people and former used car salesmen telling people, we're going to boycott for 3 days. Oh, we're going to shut it down from Black Friday to Cyber Monday. All you did was move the ledger from Friday to Tuesday. When people know that there's something coming up, like say we're going to boycott the gas station on Sunday, people will get their gas on Saturday or Monday. You've done nothing. But you can't tell them that. They don't even know why they're mad. Just like in February, they're going to be talking about Trayvon Martin. In August, they're going to be talking about Mike Brown. It's always the same thing. They tell you what to be mad at, and you just go with it. I'm good, man.
Yeah, I think it's kind of really silly after living life as long as I have. I'm just like, what are we for what? Now, what are 3 practical steps that someone watching right now can take to start to build real wealth and ownership?
Okay, well, the first thing you need to do is get your credit together. The second thing you need to do is make sure that you put all of your stuff in a trust. The third thing you need to do is start being financially and fiscally responsible instead of just buying stuff to impress people. Simple. Like I'm not asking you to do anything particularly complicated because I just refuse.
I think that is kind of complicated for people because even something as simple as getting your credit together, right? Unfortunately, in our community, a lot of people don't really know where to start getting their credit together.
If you can find out who Blueface is sleeping with, you can find out how to fix your credit. Step 1, let's make it simple. Let's make it real simple. Pay your bills. Go to annualcreditreport.com, pull an actual copy of your credit from all 3 bureaus, and go deal with your creditors. That's not complicated. So for me, like I'm not going to just let somebody ride off in the sunset on, I don't, it's so hard. It's so hard. Everything is hard. Choose your hard. Being broke is hard. Being rich is hard. Which one you want to be? You know every last one of Stevie J's baby mamas. You know every last one of Nick Cannon's baby mamas, and no diss to Nick Cannon or Stevie J. But y'all have more idea about people's business that you've never breathed the same air as than you do what's going on in your own financial portfolio. And you act like you don't know how to do it when you've got a computer that has more technology in it than 10 space missions to the moon. Make it make sense.
They can.
Yeah. So again, If you want to go ahead and be a dingbat, okay. But don't act like it's so impossible. I'm not asking you to split an atom. I am not asking you to do brain surgery. Hell, I'm not even asking you to make an omelet. I am asking you to take the time to get your finances together, because when it comes down to it, it doesn't matter how talented you are. It matters how much oxygen you have. And money's oxygen, period, point blank. Get your money. Leverage your skills, your talents, your gifts, because you're leveraging your skills, your talents, and your gifts at that job you say you don't like, that you're always late for, that you're real upset about. So why not leverage your talents and your skills for yourself? Like, we got to start being a little bit more discerning and a whole lot more accountable for what it is that we do, what it is that we don't do, and how we can get ourselves to a different level.
I definitely agree. Now, you talk about that in your book. Mm-hmm. Now, a lot of people don't really know how to take their gifts from something that they do that they really enjoy into income driver.
Mm-hmm.
What's your advice to people that have gifts but they need to, streamline that into income?
A couple of things. The first thing is success leaves clues. So if you don't even know what to do, the first thing I would do is I would go to YouTube and I would type in how to turn needlepoint into a successful business, and then see what comes up. YouTube is a search engine before it's anything else. So that's it. It's not that hard, right? You got to start taking things step by step by step. But what winds up happening is everybody starts looking at it like it's an impossible task, instead of realizing that you don't eat an elephant but one way, and that's one bite at a time. So that's what you need to do. How do successful businesses get in front of people? They advertise, they have a website, they have an email list, they incentivize people to join that email list. There you go. I just gave you a bunch of steps. It's just that simple. But we're looking for some magical bullet instead of saying, hey, how can I get there? What is the clearest, most easy path to make this happen?
Well, that brings me to my next point, because you say health, accountability, and pooling resources, that those are at the core of the revolution. And in my opinion, in this community, it's super hard to do that because everybody wants to be the person with the answer instead of being the person to listen to someone with a solution. How do we... Go ahead.
I'm sorry. I'm not here for everybody. The problem with Black people is we don't realize that there's okay. You know how they say it takes a village to raise a child?
Mm-hmm.
Most villages have idiots. Some of y'all are following the village idiots. Stop following the village idiots. Ignore the trash. You got a dumbass in your family. Everybody got a dumbass in their family. You gonna follow your dumbass cousin? You know Pookie, who been in your cousin Winky's basement making beats since 1996, and he ain't made a hit yet?
I can't.
You know your cousin Michelle? Last week she was selling flat tummy tea. Before that she was doing Arden. Before that she was doing Body Magic. Before she was doing that she was doing Mary Kay. Before she was doing that she was doing Avon. And before she was doing that she was out here being a dope boy's girlfriend. Like, stop following the village idiots. Follow the people who are about that life and reject everybody else. Like, we got to stop thinking that everybody's going to get it. Everybody ain't going to get it. Even Jesus Christ said, my sheep will hear my voice. Go read the parable of the seed sower. What did he say? So threw some seeds up against the rocks, threw some seeds out by the water, threw some seeds on fertile soil. The ones that was in fertile soil took. Everything else,
just turned into ashes.
There it is. So, I mean, if the Son of God understands everybody ain't going to get with him, what makes you so special? Stop trying to take everybody with us. That's what we do. You don't never see a white basketball player with an entourage of 50 people.
You know what's funny about that? Because most of our athletes that are really wealthy, because they have those 50 people with them, they wind up broke really
Yep,
quickly.
really quickly. Within 5 years of them retiring, most professional athletes wind up broke. Stop trying to save everybody. That's it. I know y'all don't want to hear that, but guess what? I'm right.
It is what it is, kid. Now, for those of you that have some valuable questions, now is the time for y'all to put some questions in the chat. Please let your questions be respectful, because if they're not respectful, I'm not going to read them. And also, please be sure to go over to the realagenda.com and
Realblackagenda.com.
realblackagenda.com and buy the book. My apologies, I did misspeak. We dropped the link in the chat again. Yes, yes, yes. Now, if you had the power to make Black families implement one thing right now, what would that be?
Wow, if I had the power of making Black families implement one thing, what would it be?
And why?
I think the most important thing Black families can do is realize that their most valuable asset is their children. Right? We treat our children like liabilities instead of treating them like heirs. We got to start having real conversations about what succession looks like. And here's what I mean. Do you know what I got for my 15th birthday?
What did you get?
My mother brought me into her room and she showed me her insurance documents. She showed me her last will and testament. She showed me where absolutely everything was. And she gave me a plan of how she wanted her last things handled, her final affairs handled. Specifically, at 15, I knew exactly how my mother wanted her remains handled, where she wanted her ashes poured, what properties and where everything was. She did not treat me like a teenager. She treated me like an heir. We don't do that. We get mad at these people telling you, tax the rich and the millionaires and billionaires are doing beep, 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 beep. But the truth of the matter is, my mom was a teacher, my daddy was a cop. It's not hard to figure out. Once you stop making excuses and listening to people telling you you're a victim, at any time when you're going in the wrong direction, all you got to do is turn around. Practical group economics is another thing that we need to handle. Right? So when it comes to practical group economics, it's very simple. I buy from people who share my lineage. It's not a hard thing. The Jews do it. The Italians do it. The Chinese people do it. The Africans do it. And by the Africans, I mean the Nigerians, the Ghanaians. Like, stop playing. Everybody else understands this concept but us. We don't keep our money circulating in our communities longer than 6 hours after we get it. We're the only group of people that don't do that. Everybody else doesn't have to be told to buy and keep their money amongst themselves for as long as humanly possible, because it's a part of who they are. If you go to Chick-fil-A and you ask them for some Polynesian sauce, you know what they're going to say? My pleasure. Doesn't matter where your Chick-fil-A is. I don't care if your Chick-fil-A is in Dallas, Texas, or in Little Rock, Arkansas. If you go to Chick-fil-A Monday through Saturday and you ask for some Polynesian sauce and you say thank you, they're going to say my pleasure. It's in them. They don't have to have a my pleasure officer to say that. It's a part of their company culture. We as a Black collective do not have a company culture that says we buy from us whenever it's possible.
That's true. I mean, we definitely need that. I think so. It goes back to what I was saying earlier about Pavlovian theory, right? I think when we did have Black Wall Street and we did have blocks of Black businesses in towns where we were circulating those dollars within our own communities and they were destroyed, that put up a mental block. And I think in the community, we have to break those chains of mental slavery.
My grandfather, when he was about 16 years old, made the fatal mistake of beating up the son of a grand dragon in the clan.
Mm.
And he ran through the night and enlisted at 16, lied about his age, and enlisted in the Navy. I don't know what it is to run from the clan. I do not know what it is to run through the night to get to a naval recruitment station. I don't know what it is to serve in the military. Chains was broken when my grandfather decided to have children, and those children had children. I don't experience his trauma. However, I benefit from the fact that he went through that trauma because he set up a life to make sure that his children and his children's children's children don't have to deal with what he had to deal with. We've got to stop saying that everything is our trauma. Some of it is us not moving forward because we just don't want to move forward. And we got too much pride to say, hey, I don't know how to do this. What can I do to make my situation better? Right? We can do absolutely anything. When I left broadcasting, I had $20 in my bank account. I took 12 of it, bought a GoDaddy website, and made 100 phone calls a day. And that's how I started to build my business. We got plenty of talent. We got plenty of ingenuity. But what we have an overabundance is in our community is excuses. Not saying that we don't have certain challenges, because we do. But at what point do we stop talking about how bad the world was and start talking about the possibility of how great we can make the world for ourselves and our kids?
That's a fair point, and I think it's a point that needs to be said more and more and more and more. That's why I asked you. Now, I want to thank you so much for joining us today, but these are a couple questions I have for you before you leave.
Sure,
now,
sure.
You've got workshops, workbooks, devotionals tied to this. Where do people go next after this conversation to ignite their own revolution?
I think the best thing you can do is you can go to therealblackagenda.com. There's a lot of really cool stuff there. Also, be on the lookout. Second week of February, I am dropping the follow-up to The Real Black Agenda. It's called Weapons of Mass Distraction. They gave you the circus so you'd miss the war. And you're absolutely going to love it. If you love what's in the bestseller edition, let me see, of The Real Black Agenda, you're definitely going to love Weapons of Mass Distraction. And just check in with me on social media at The Business Bully. Like, we do this for real. And I also want to say this, in this book, I cover a lot of stuff. I talk about education. I talk about family legacy and generational codes. I talk about how people are benefiting from the abortion industrial complex. You know, there's a lot that I go into. I talk about how Black women have been fed this narrative of my body, my choice, and women's healthcare needs to be prioritized. But the truth of the matter is, we're not prioritizing women's healthcare. We're prioritizing abortions, because if we were prioritizing women's healthcare, we would be talking about the direct correlation between chemical relaxers and uterine fibroids. We would be talking about the fact that the majority of Black women have more problems in hospitals with doctors being told, being misdiagnosed, being dying during childbirth. And that's not just a financial thing, because both Serena Williams and Beyonce, who both are billionaires, almost died giving birth.
Me too.
And anecdotally, I don't know any Black woman who has had an abortion who has not had reproductive problems later on in life. And I'd go deep into how that happens in The Real Black Agenda. So I don't, and I need people to understand this, because there's going to be somebody who watches this and says, well, he's telling me what I should do with my body. And shut up. I'm not telling you what to do with your body. Respectfully, shut up. What I'm saying to you is, you have the right to choose to abort your fetus. You do. I just want you to know all the things the government and the medical industrial complex and Margaret Sanger's Planned Parenthood does not want you to know about what happens when you abort that baby. What they do when they extract that melanin, how they treat your baby like medical waste and do all types of experiment and sell them to universities and sell them to NASA, so on and so forth. So That's why it's important. So if we're going to have the whole conversation about healthcare, we need to have it. If we're going to have the whole conversation about education, we need to have it. And that's why this book is important. That's why I hope everybody goes out right now to therealblackagenda.com. It has been sitting on the top of 3 Amazon bestsellers list since April. I need you to go get this book, not because I wrote it, but because the information in here is so dangerous that the Breakfast Club doesn't want you to see it.
Right. And I mean, you gotta understand, even birth control pills. Shout out to the birth control technology revolution. That wasn't to make you intimately liberated. It's a much more nefarious agenda. Like, you know, I was just having this conversation the other day because somebody was talking about, oh, well, and why do women have to get married? And I'm a feminist and women have a right and the choice and da-da-da. But then in the Black community, it's a problem because it's single moms. Well, guess what? Prior to feminism and their influence with the birth control sexual technology revolutions, everybody was getting married. There's a reason why they stopped that, but that's another conversation for another day, because you was talking about Margaret Stanger. I've been knowing about Margaret Stanger and the people that are tied to her. And people don't realize how it trickles down to today, even down to the NAACP. But, you know.
You mean that organization started by white people in order to make sure that they control the narrative of Black people? And feminism, you mean how that was started and funded by the Central Intelligence Agency, where Gloria Steinem came into Black communities and said, Black women, you're women first, then you're Black. So you need to join with us for feminism. And then, of course, 74% of all Black people were married in functional relationships. We had the lowest amount of teenage pregnancy. We were thriving. And they said, you know what we're going to do? We're just going to go ahead and get double the taxes by getting women to work. And the quickest way to get women to work is to get Black women to reject their men. You don't need a man. You can do it yourself. You're a strong, independent woman. So whenever you say strong, independent woman, understand that's a psychological op from the CIA. Congratulations, you played yourself.
Well, all I'm saying is, Black people unite. Black people unite. Now, a final question for you. In 2026 and beyond, what does an ignited, revolutionized Black community look like to you?
An ignited, revolutionized Black community is local. It starts by making sure that you and your family are taken care of. It starts by making sure that your community is taken care of. It starts by making sure that we know where we go in order to support each other. We know what to do when it comes to how we handle ourselves with the police, how we avail ourselves of the political process, how we make sure we get access to the resources that we have been denied because we don't know any better. There's a lot that needs to happen. And again, I talk about that in the book. And so I'm really happy and thankful for your platform for allowing me to be here today.
Listen, I'm honored. And I would love to have you back when you drop the second book, because I'm gonna be one of the first ones reading, like, yep. But yeah, thank you so much for joining me today.
No, thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
Yes. And y'all didn't put no good questions in this chat. Now, I thought y'all was going to be bold. Y'all been chitty-chatting up, and thank y'all for all your comments and your participation and the engagement. Appreciate you. But I don't know why y'all was so scared during Q&A time, but now you've missed your window. This is your girl, Mind Chaos Brew, always bringing you something to make you think from a psychological aspect and do better. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Take care.
Bro, G. Stand tall, can't break me. No, don't fuck with me. Don't fuck with me. Bad Black queen, whole world gon' see. Yeah, don't fuck with me. Don't fuck with me. Diamonds on my wrist, mine sharper than a key. Don't fuck with me. Don't fuck with me. Step in the room, all eyes on she. Don't fuck with me. Don't fuck with me.
Look, I'm the headline, you a footnote, baby. I write the rules, you just quote them maybe. They throw dirt, but I bloom like daisies. Pressure make a queen, can't faze me. Walk in.